Shelly Christensen is the founder and director of Inclusion Innovations, where she provides training, organizational, and community development and strategic planning for the Jewish organizations and communities so that they can become more inclusive. She is the author of a really wonderful resource called The Jewish Community Guide to Inclusion of People with Disabilities. And she's also the current president of the Religion and Spirituality Division of the American Association on Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. And most of all, she's the mother of 3 adult children, one of whom was diagnosed with a number of disabilities while growing up. Welcome, Shelly.
Shalom. Hello. For those of you who are wondering about my last name, Christensen, I just want to tell you, it is the Jewish spelling. So, there was a man named Jacob, not the Jacob we know from the Hebrew Bible, but a man named Jacob who lived in Poland in the early part of the 19th century. He was a great teacher. He was a master. In fact, he was known to his people as Ha-Yehudi HaKadosh, the Holy Jew. And he wrote this: "Good intentions alone, not accompanied by action, are without value, for it is the action which makes the intention so profound." That was Jacob, Ha-Yehudi HaKadosh. An inclusive community is based on good intentions. We don't want to do the wrong thing. We don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, and sometimes we shut people out because we don't know how to treat them. When I look at the walls here in the sanctuary and I see the windows and I see us being able to look out, there's a reason that sanctuaries have windows. And that's so we can see who is not here, who is not present with us today. So what drives good intentions? What turns them into action? Because what we know and what we believe is that no one should ever be left outside of that circle of their faith community, of their house of worship, where they want to belong. But the good intentions sometimes lead to treating people differently, and suddenly people become projects. In our Jewish community, we like to say people are not mitzvah projects. They are not the subject for us to do good. No. People are the point. People who have disabilities, people who don't have disabilities. Is your house of faith open to all? Stop for a moment. Close your eyes and think about this. What is important to you in your life, in your spiritual life, in your religious life, in your faith community life? And it can't be God, because that's kind of broad and general. Make it specific. Think about it. What would your life be like if that part of your life were no longer in it? What would your life be like? What would happen to your hopes, your dreams, your goals? What would happen to your social life? What would happen to your place to find comfort? What would happen to your place to share your gifts, share your strengths, share your skills, to find community? And think about how often people with disabilities have that same thing taken away from them, or it's not part of their life at all. That's what we're talking about here. Those are the actions. So I want to share something with you about another Jacob. My son, Jacob. I should say our son, Jacob, because I share him with my husband, Rick. And so we are good co-parents. Jacob is an adult now, but when he was 16 years old, I was driving him to high school one day. Jacob has Asperger's syndrome. One of the things that's important to Jacob are the Japanese arts, music, anime, things like that. And we were driving to school one day, and I had the news du jour, the bad news of the day. I had National Public Radio on. Jake said, "Mom, I have a CD. I want you to listen to it." And I said, "I don't want to listen to it, Jacob. I'm listening to the news." And he said, "Please, Mom, I really want you to listen to this music." Fine, okay, fine. So he put the CD in. I said, what is this, by the way? He goes, it's music from my video games. I'm thinking, oh, great. I hope the traffic isn't too bad today. I started listening to the music, and it was beautiful, and it was wonderful, and it was inspiring. And all of a sudden, I had this revelation, this aha moment, and that was simply this. We are always asking Jacob to walk in our world. Always. Isn't it time that we walk in Jacob's world? Isn't it time that we understand what is important to Jacob, what is important to people with disabilities? Not for them, not mitzvah projects, but what is important to people. That is the key to becoming a congregation that takes good intentions and puts them into action. We can call it relationships, and indeed that's what it is. That's where we start, not with projects, not with programs. We start by walking in other people's worlds and understanding what's important to them.